When a person tells you there is no such thing as prostration in the Quran, just take your time and ask him this word. Ask him this word. Tell him, define this act in one English word for me. If the person says there is no physical act of prostration in the Quran, right? Just ask him one simple question. Tell him, when someone falls down to show submission, if I fall down to show submission to somebody, let's say a king, or let's say my boss, he says, I want to fire you. Then I fall down in front of him. I fall down with my head. Then I show to show submission that, oh, please, boss, please. That act, give me one word that describes that act from English or from Arabic. How do you pronounce it? For anybody who tells you there is no physical act of sujood, prostration in the Quran, I give you this assignment. Just ask such a person this question. To define this act for you in Arabic or English, give you one word to describe it. It is prostration. In English, in Arabic, is sajada, sujood. You can take it or leave it. That is the truth. That's why it says, "Kul al-haqqu min rabbikum, faman sha'a falyu'min, wa man sha'a falyakfur." You cannot be forced. But you tell me I'm doing sujood to God and I'm a mushrik, or it's not in the Quran, then you lack common sense and you are ignorant. Simple. You're just ignorant. Now, this is where it eliminates all doubt about a physical sujood in salah. I told you my next topic is about salah, and I'll show you where there is a physical act of sujood, prostration. So, this third verb eliminates all that doubt. So, keep in check. So, the word kharra, it means to fall down, to fall or over or fall. That is kharra. That is how it's used in the Quran. Right? This is the verb. Now we are going to use it together with the word sujood in the same context and see, is it a physical act or not? Do you see? You understand? So let's see. Chapter 17, verse 107. It says, say, believe in it or do not believe. Indeed, those who were given the knowledge before it, that is the Quran, when it is recited to them, yakhiruna, they fall down. Yakhiruna lil azkani, just for God to show you that there's a physical movement of the body. So they fall down to the chins. This is your chin. They fall down to the chins, going down. Because when I go down and put my head, my chin follows me. So this is a physical movement. So God is telling you the word yakhiru comes from the word kharra as a verb. Yakhiruna is a group. So they fall down. Do you see? They fall down to their chins for God to show you there's a physical movement of the body going with the chin downwards. They fall down to the chins. It didn't say on the chins. You are not falling on your chins like this. No, to the chins. Because when you go down with your head, all your head, your chin is also down. So they go down, they fall down to the chins. They fall down, they fall over to the chins. Then the word sujjadan comes. So I told you I will not be putting the word prostration there. I will put in to make obeisance, to show submission, and in prostration. These three meanings of sajada. You can choose to put whatever, but at the end of the topic, you will know if there's a physical act or not in the Quran. So now they fall down to their chins, sujjadan. You can see the word sujud, when it's used with the word kharra, which is a physical act, it happens. It's a physical act. You can do physical sujud. I'm not saying all the time sujud means physical, to show submission physically. No, not always. But I will show you how it works. Chapter 19, verse 58. God talks about the prophets. Then he says, when the verses of the Rahman, the gracious, were recited to them, then he says, kharru. He used the word kharru sujjadan. Kharru means They fell down. The prophets of God, kharru, they fell down. The word kharra is a verb. It's an act of falling. To fall down, to fall over. So they fall down in what? Sujjadan. Sujjadan, and weeping. It's a physical act. And this act, they did it in their salat, according to chapter 19, verse 58 to 59. Check in the context. It is in their salat they did this act. In their salah. And I'll explain in my next lecture, inshallah. Do you see it? It's a physical act in your salah to do sujood. To go down in prostration by putting your head down. I'll give you all the evidences. Let's not be in the rush. Again, chapter 32 verse 15. God says, only those who believe in our verses are those whom, when reminded thereby, they fall down. Kharru. It comes from the word kharra, because this is a plural form. Kharru means a group doing. Kharru. Kharra. They fall down. Sujjadan. Sujjadan, to make obeisance, to show submissions to in prostration. Same context. So it is prostration. If you like, take the sujjadan out. Put the word. If you like, put your word to show submission, to make obeisance. If you like, don't use prostration. But what is that act of falling down to show somebody submission? What is that act in English? Define that word in English. One word. I dare the people who say there's no physical act of prostration in the Quran. I dare them. Let them define one word. When I fall down to somebody to show my submission, what is that word described at in English? How do you pronounce that word? So somebody help me, please. Type it for me. Now let's continue. And glorify with praise of their Lord. When they fall down, and glorify with praise of their Lord. And they are not arrogant. Only an arrogant person doesn't fall down to praise God. And then he will tell you, oh no, God didn't say I should do it physically. Oh, did you really study the book? You're welcome, James Adam. Now let's continue. Chapter 12, verse 100. Now we can see if whenever we use the word kharra together with the word sujud, it is in context. There's no excuse here. Unless if somebody doesn't know the grammar of Arabic. Yes, there's no excuse. It's a physical act in this context. I'm not saying always sujud means you should go down, fall down on your head. No. You can show submission by not falling down. But when it comes in the context of this, even in your salat, it is talking about a physical act. Just fall down to God. It's to show your submission. That's why to a king, you fall down in front of a king to show him that you have submitted. It is different from taslim or aslim. That type of submission is different. So I'm going to explain. So let's take the example of the king's palace. That is Yusuf alayhi salam and his family. When they came to visit him in the king's palace, chapter 12, verse 100. When they came to him, he raised his two parents upon the throne. They came and then he raised them on the throne. And they fell down before him. They fell down. Harru is a physical act. The verb is harra, to fall down, to fall. They fell down in front of him. In sujjadan. If you like, put the word obeisance. I don't care. Put the word to show submission. I don't care. But it is still prostration. That word, one word to define that action in English is called prostration. Do you see? So they fell down to him. Do you see the physical act? Good. Now, it is not only sujud that you go down. Even ruku'u, according to the Quran, to do ruku'u, you go down. You understand? Even ruku'u, to go down. Right? So now, in the context of chapter 38, verse 24, and David thought we were testing him, so he sought the forgiveness of his Lord, and kharra, that is harru, he fell down The word kharra is a physical act. That's why when I started the topic, I started with the guidelines telling you about the context, understanding a language, grammar, a unit to help you get the interpretation, understanding literal and non-literal. This is a literal word. Kharra is a literal word, right? To fall. So now God says, so he sought the forgiveness of his Lord and fell down in ruku'u. That is raki'an, and repented. He did a physical act by falling down in what? Genuflection. That is to bow down. It's another form of going down. But this time it will be on your knees when you are doing ruku'u. You understand? So now, we can see that whenever the word kharra is used with the word ruku'u or sujud, it's a physical act. It's no more about, it's not physical. No, it's a physical act when they are used together in the same form.